With OpenToonz, everything you do is stored under a project. And the project is made up of a number of scenes. The project is stored under a various array of folders. Now, there are two ways you can make a project. You can either go to your file menu over here, have the project settings, or with the Studio Ghibli rooms, you can go over here at the browser, go to File, and make project over here. If we take a look in the file browser, we'll see that we have a project root, and we have a folder beneath that called Sandbox. And there is a red dot there, and that red dot indicates that this is actually the active project. So the project we're currently working in, which is the default project, is called Sandbox, and that is located in the OpenToonz 1.0 stuff folder. So is the project root. To create a new project, go File, New Project. Then we can give the project a name. Then we can give it directories. As a default, they will all go under the project root, but we can also choose a specific directory, and they are not limited to a specific drive. So if we want to do them on a different drive, go here, make a folder, name that. We basically will have to put these all in manually, and I'm just going to stick with the same names which are given by default, which are the names which are shown over here. You can name them whatever you want to, although I will not do that. When we look at these directories, first and foremost we have inputs, which is essentially where all your scanned drawings should go. Then we have drawings, which should contain all the vector drawings for the scene. Then we have scenes. Now the scenes does not necessarily reside in the scenes folder. You can have it stored under the drawings, inputs, or extras folders. In that case, all the drawings for a specific scene will reside in the scene that those drawings were originally made in. There are also other ways you can organize the scenes by formatting these directory names, but I'm not going to go into any of those at the moment. Extras is where you will have things like your backgrounds and your raster drawings. Outputs is where you will render to. So anything which you render will automatically go into the project's outputs folder. Palettes will have all your scene palettes, your studio palettes for the project. Scripts is a folder in which you can choose to put scripts which you make for an OpenToonz project. So if I click OK, it will create a project. You'll see that the sandbox no longer has a red light. Now if I click on the projects folder, we will have a project over here. If I double click on it, we will see all my drawings have been created. Basically anything I work on now will go into the project which is highlighted. So if I was to select there, my work would go into sandbox. If I select here, the work will go into the project which I have created. The one major limitation with OpenToonz and the projects is that by default it does not allow you to choose where you are going to place your projects, and you cannot set them in the interface. It is possible to store projects wherever you want to store them. What I'm going to show you now is not something which you should do very often or take lightly, because it is a potentially dangerous thing to do. So with OpenToonz, all the projects reside under the OpenToonz 1.0 stuff directory, under either Sandbox, which is your default project, or the projects directory, where you will have a list of all the projects you want to create. Unfortunately, having all your projects on a single drive is not the most flexible way of working, and there are lots of reasons why you would want to use multiple drives and why you would want to store information on external drives, for example. Now what I'm going to show you here will allow you to place projects in any directory or drive that you want to. This process is, however, potentially dangerous as it involves modifying the registry. So we'll start off by pressing Windows R to bring up the run command, and then we'll type in regedit or regedit for the registry editor. What you'll do is you'll go to HKey local machine, we'll go to software, and then we will find OpenToonz. We will navigate the OpenToonz directory till we get to this over here, and where it says Toonz Projects, we're going to modify that. Now the project that I want to put it in is on this external drive over here, so I'll want to put it into this directory. So I'm just going to make sure that I get this directory correct. In this case, I'm just going to copy and paste. Then I'm going to go back to the registry. Once I'm back in the registry, I'm going to go to the projects, and I'm going to modify this. I'm going to put a semicolon, and then I'm going to put the directory I wanted to put the projects in. You can do this for as many directories as you want to. The semicolon will just add them to the list. I press OK, then it will save it, and then I'm going to restart OpenToonz. Now I'm back in OpenToonz. If I go to the browser, we will now see that I have a different project root listed over here in drive F OpenToonz tutorials. So if I go over here, I can create a new project. I can choose my F drive, give the project a name, and then I can create this project. And if we take a look now, I've got the new project, and this project is now created on my external drive. There is one major problem with putting custom projects in the registry, and that is that every time you upgrade OpenToonz, what will happen is that the registry will be updated and will be restored to the default settings. In order to overcome that, you can edit the registry in a different way, or you can just back up the registry. Both techniques are essentially the same. To do this, we will right-click on the 1.0 folder, which contains all the directories which OpenToonz requires in order to run correctly. And then we will export that. And we'll export it as a registry file. I'm just going to export it to my desktop, and I'm just going to call it OpenToonz. Now that we've saved the registry file, I'm just going to open it and edit it. So once we've opened it, we will see that it has the list of directories over here. And the directory which we are going to want to change is the Toonz project. So we're going to put in our directories. And now we could save it like this, but this will not work. What we need to do is make sure that all of the backslashes are doubled. And then if we save it, we should be able to run it, and it should update the registry. To run a registry file, we just double click on it. We'll get a user account control warning, and then we will get another warning us that we are modifying the registry, and then it will confirm whether you have been successful in modifying the registry. Then if we look at our registry, we will now see that it has updated the files to add the projects which I want to add. And now we can launch OpenToonz. Now we're back in OpenToonz. We'll see in the browser environment that the 2 custom project routes I have added are visible in OpenToonz. So basically what we will do then is we will rerun the registry edit file every single time we update OpenToonz to update the registry, rather than having to manually update the registry every time we update OpenToonz.